This is Alicia, the Zipper Lady, and today we're going to put a continuous zipper in the top end of a little bag. I have selected just a piece of fabric that was left over from a pair of draperies I'd made. I've done a 1/2 inch seam allowance on one side of it, and I've serged everything because I think it just looks a little bit neater and cleaner. Then the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to take a piece of zipper tape and I'm going to leave it about 2 inches long on both sides, cut it off, and I'm just going to open it up because we're only going to use 1/2 of the zipper tape. I've put my zipper foot on with the needle to the left, and as I align my zipper, I'm going to put it next to the edge of the top of my bag. I'm going to leave 2 inches, and I am not going to start sewing right at the end. I'm going to start sewing in a 1/2 inch because I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so I'm allowing that little bit of seam for the side seam of the bag. So I'm going to do a little back stitch here just so that I've got it caught. And I have a little change in the design in the zipper, and I'm going to run my foot right next to it and the zipper right next to the edge of my bag. Also remember, I do have my zipper upside down on the right side of my bag. Now I'm just opening up my seam. I did a little finger press on it. I've stopped a 1/2 inch shy of the other side. I'm going to do just a back stitch to catch it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew another seam, just top stitch it so that the zipper looks nice and tidy. And again, I'm starting in a 1/2 inch from the edge. I didn't take the time to back stitch. And you can see where I didn't stitch here. I'm going to stop at the same spot. Now then, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure the sides of my bag are even, and I am going to cut off, I'm left-handed, and so I'm going to cut off about 1/4 of an inch down on the left side, so that I can slide my slider on. I'm using a blue slider. Obviously you probably wouldn't. I'm going to slide it on the long side first and tug it down. Now that I'm going to align the side seams of my bag and tuck this in the other side. Holding both sides, I'm just going to pull it down. Whoops, it slid. Some days zippers make liars out of the best of us. There we go. So now my sides are aligned and my zipper is in. I hate threads, so get rid of those. Now I'm simply going to turn this inside out. And starting right as close to the top as I can get it, I'm going to stitch with my zipper foot. The puppy's underneath my feet. No puppy. I'm afraid she's going to get on the treadle. Now before I zip this all the way down, or sew it all the way down rather, I'm going to unzip this just a hair at the top, just so I don't have to fight it. And I backstitch in my corners, and the bag is done. I really like to make little feet for my bag so my bag will stand up. So I open this up, and I open my seam allowances up. And I'm going to measure from right where the seam allowance starts, which is right there. I'm going to align it with my blue tape, which is at about 1 inch. And I'm going to go back and forth. Whoops. Come on. Like that. To make a little foot for my bag. Let me open this up so you can see what it looks like. So that's how the little footed bag looks. And this is how it looks when it's just left as a square. But I like this better. It will stand up. It'll stand up in the bottom of your purse. And so very calmly flip this back in. And all I'm doing is aligning the 2 seam allowance stitches. There we go. On top of each other. Okay, and if you don't feel like you've got it, you can put a pin through and test it on the other side. But I use this technique on pillows all the time, so I'm pretty certain I'm pretty close. And I backstitch a couple of times just to make sure it stays stitched. So there you have a little bag with feet and a zipper.